I can't think of anything more terrifying as a soldier than the thought of my family suffering if I have to make a sacrifice. And that's really what the National Home was about.
We came up with the concept of the National Home in 1923, but we didn't have the funding to do it. We didn't know where we wanted to do it. A couple of years later, the VFW came up and said, yeah, we want to do this. So they took the idea that the MOC had and they ran with it.
The 1922 World Series, New York Yankees, New York Giants, the baseball commissioner called a tie because of daylight.
This led a lot of fans to kind of say, well, you're just doing this to sell another game's worth of tickets. So they donated the proceeds from the ticket sales of the last game to charity.
One of the organizations was the VFW. If you can imagine in 1925, we hadn't even invented antibiotics. World War I sent a lot of fathers, a lot of husbands overseas, and a lot of them didn't return. And so that left a lot of widows. Again, back in the 1920s, there weren't a lot of benefits, and so it left them stranded.
Amy Pollitt and her 6 kids were the first family to move into the National Home. And within 3 years, there was 6 families here.
Sergeant Edward Pollitt, he was retiring out of the Army, was on his way to Detroit at what the time they called Fort Wayne to get his final paycheck and to retire out of the Army. And while he was in the Fort Wayne area, he was hit by a trolley car and killed. On March 9th, his wife and 6 kids moved in here.
I was 12. My father died of a cerebral hemorrhage in 1964. And in 1966, the best move for us was to come out here as a family. There was kind of a change, but I ended up meeting some very good friends of mine, and the home became home.
Once you come to the National Home one time, you want to come back. You see the kids and how they interact with each other. You don't know exactly what their story is, but you know something happened in that veteran's life. It's really interesting because the firefighters were the kids. All the boys that were here at the home were firefighters.
I was 13, and that was the development that started, and then it became a lifetime career.
There was a nationwide fundraiser, and the fundraiser was to raise money for a new fire truck. They collected over 8 million Betty Crocker box tops, and they were able to raise enough money to buy a fire truck. They wanted to do another one of these fundraisers, and later that year, Betty Crocker sent a letter to the National Home saying that they were ending the box top program. So one of the things that the home is all about today is really giving a hand up, not a hand out. But that was always the philosophy. And the children, a lot of them have really kind of excelled. The home is necessary. The home was necessary back then, and it's necessary today.
There are a lot of veteran programs, there are a lot of veteran homeless programs, there are a lot of veteran jobless programs, but they don't take care of the whole family. This is the only place I know in the world that takes care of the whole family.
Everywhere I go, I talk about the National Home and what it does for people. Now, there's almost a waiting list to get in. And now we're talking about building more buildings. So it's getting better and better year after year.
The #1 priority has been making sure that the people who come here have everything that they need so that when they leave here, they can not only survive, but hopefully excel.